Hi, how are you today?
I'm okay. It's been a rough week, but I'm here.
Okay, could you explain that?
Um, I don't know. My mental health just hasn't been here, and I've been super stressed and had a really hard time sleeping. Last night I got some sleep. I slept for like 4 hours, but that was like the first time I'd slept in 3 days. I hadn't been able to shut my eyes at all. I was up like every night crying. Like, it was just bad. Had a rough couple nights. Last night I called out of work because I was having so many panic attacks. And then my staff was like, we really love you, like, come in, like, we miss you, we know you're not okay, like, you've been acting strange. And I'm like, I'll be okay, I just need time. And they were like, come into work, like. So I went, and I was just having panic attack after panic attack. Like, I couldn't breathe, I couldn't talk to anybody, I couldn't even stay in my job. Like, I just kept going to the back room, the bathroom, anywhere that I didn't have to be around people.
Have you seen a doctor?
I don't have insurance, so I don't really see doctors right now. But yeah, I think a little bit of it, like, I don't think it's the issue, but I think it's like what made one of my safety nets, because work has always been an escape for me. So like that's where I go when I am having issues. And for me to still have the issues there was a little challenging. But recently there's been some exciting events in the mall.
Well, that's good.
No, exciting as in sarcasm. I am faced with an issue that I don't know how I should approach or if I want to approach it. So we're in the middle of the mall, and next to us there's like Metro and Zales and Hollister and Kay's, and like we're pretty close with all of our surrounding stores just because we like see the same people throughout the work week. And one of my favorites works at like Sports Etc., and then one of my other favorites works at Metro, which is right beside us. And like our staff is really friendly with their staff. So they have a store manager. His name's Rodney, and he's like 40. And then they have an assistant manager named Kobe. He's like 20. They have like 2 staff members, Sam and Abdullah. They're both like 20. And so I have 6 staff members. Well, my youngest, Haley, has a crush on Sam from Metro. Well, Sam is going to join the military, so he don't want to hurt her. So he tried to give her to Kobe, who likes her, and Desiree, which is another of my staff members. Well, Haley doesn't like Kobe, she likes Sam. So then she tries to push me onto Kobe. Well, I don't want to be pushed anywhere. Well, then Kobe then tells me and Haley that Rodney is basically in love with me. Like, he's had this crush on me for months. And I'm like, everyone was like, oh my God, we knew it. Like, and mind you, Rodney went away on vacation this week that this all happened. So that was the only one that was admitted that wasn't a fluke. But the problem is that I have no business liking him, but a couple months ago, I had a crush on him. And it was like because I really like his personality. But again, he's like 40. And he's just like my mall best friend. Well, since their staff proceeded to tell my staff that he liked me, my staff was like, oh my God, we're going to set them up. So they've just made it really awkward since he's been back. And it got to the point where Saturday, I was at work with 2 of the girls, Haley and Desiree, and Rodney comes up to order something like he normally would and talk to me because he always talks to me because we're acquaintances. And Desiree proceeds to come up to the register and say, y'all would be really cute together, y'all should go on a date. And it just put both of us in a very awkward position. And neither one of us denied anything, but there wasn't anything that we could say in that moment either. So we just kind of tried to weasel our way out of it, and then thank God a customer came up, so he got to run away, and I got to go hide in the corner and pretend I wasn't gonna cry. Like, it was just pretty bad. And so, I don't know. It's been the talk of the stores recently about me and Rodney trying to get together because everyone is pushing it. And I think I wouldn't have had a problem with it, but now that everybody's involved, it just, because it's already something that's not socially acceptable, I don't think it's something that I want now. And I'm like, it sucks because, like, you know, if he did have feelings and I did too, like, maybe it could have been something, but now everybody's just kind of ruined it for me, and I don't like being the topic of conversation. So I don't know. And like last night when I came into work, and like me and Rodney, like, because we have each other on social media and we have each other's numbers, like, we've been messaging a little bit here and there about the situation. And, you know, his staff doesn't keep him as involved as my staff keeps me because I'm around my staff's age and he's not. So the kids were gossiping with me. So, like, you know, when crap hit the fan, I went ahead and told him, like, where Desiree's statement came from. And I went ahead and put myself out there, and, you know, I told him that I had a crush on him a couple months ago, and that this is where the stores got it from. This is, you know, what had happened while you were away. And again, he didn't deny anything. And then I was like, well, what's your opinion on everything? But he was at his other job. So he was like, I'll talk to you about it when I'm on break, or I'll message you on my break. And then he messaged me later and was like, I'm not going to get a break because we've been busy. I'll message you when I get home. And he did message me when he got home, but we didn't talk about it. So I'm still left in the dark not knowing his opinion on the situation. He's not, like, very big on texting. And, like, he just strikes me as that type of person, so it doesn't surprise me. But, like, we can't really talk at work now because everyone's involved. And he doesn't text. So, like, I can't get his opinion. But, I mean, everyone has said it for months now. Like, even employees that are no longer with us or new hires, they're like, wow, that guy really likes you. So, like, I'm aware of it, but I've never taken it seriously, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And, so, I mean, based on everybody else's perception and the rumors, it's true. But I'm like, now what do I do? Because I know it's not socially acceptable. But I don't want to push, like, I know it would be weird for him, you know, like, and I know that's the only factor that's stopping it is the age. But, I don't know, it's been something I'm dealing with. And, like, yesterday when I was in the corridors, I was already having a panic attack. And one of his staff members came up to me and was like, he was like, why aren't you talking to us now? Like, you won't even look in our direction. And I was like, you know, I'm just having a rough night. I was like, I'll be fine. And I was like, who's closing tonight? You and Sam? And he was like, yeah, and Rodney, wink, wink. And I'm like, you know, that's uncalled for. Which I didn't tell him that, but I texted him later that night and I was like, hey, like, can you just not make jokes about this anymore? Like, can you just let it die down? Because, like, their staff is a lot more mature. Like, I've asked mine to stop and they've stopped. But, one of my assistant managers decided to tell one of his assistant managers that I liked him too. And my staff outed me. So now everyone in the store thinks, like, it's just gung-ho crazy, and it's just, I was like, I'd, like, asked Rodney, I was like, I'm really sorry, like, that all this is happening. He's like, you didn't embarrass me, like, he was like, at least you didn't reject me in front of, like, everybody. And I was like, yeah, but I don't.
So it sounds like you're embarrassed.
Yeah. Confused.
But you do feel
I don't know.
you like him.
I don't know. A part of me does, yeah. But, like, I have no time for anything right now. Like, I don't know. He's not, like, an immature person, so, like, I get that he would understand if I was busy and why I couldn't talk to him if I couldn't talk to him. But it just seems like, I don't know. Thank God he told me, he come up to me last night because he had asked me if I was working Monday night, and I was like, he texted me Sunday and asked me, I was like, no, I called out. And then he came up to me last night because I think he could tell that I was ignoring him. And he was like, I'd crouched down behind like the counter so he couldn't see me. And he was just like, hi, I can see you. And I was like, hi. I was like, you could just let me hide in my corner. Like, you don't have to call me out. And he was like, yeah, well, he was like, I thought you weren't coming in tonight. And I was like, yeah, I need the money. I was like, so I'm here. And then he was just like, I wish I would have known or something. I don't know. He said something dumb. And I was like, all right. And then I forget what we started talking about, but it was like just small talk. And then he walks away. And I messaged him like, just let me hide in my corner. Like, don't come after me. And then he was just like, no, not allowed. So my coworker's like, oh, he's flirting with you. I'm like, can you fuck out of my phone? Like, because I was like, why are you like this close to me reading over my shoulder? Like, carry on. And so, I don't know. Everyone's still trying to ship it. And they're just like, meet him after work. And I'm like, I'm not. Like, I get like everyone's encouraging it. But it's still weird. So I texted him last night too. And I was like, hey, if you hear any more rumors about it, can you like shut it down? I was like, I just don't want to be talked about. I was like, whatever happens, happens. I was like, whatever doesn't, but it's between us. I was like, with everybody just talking about it all the time, I was like, to me, it's just not worth even talking. And he was like, yeah. And then he's texting me back, and he's like, I just yelled at them. I was like, oh, thanks, appreciate you. But that wasn't that serious. And so he told me a couple weeks ago that if one of their other stores didn't get their sales up, that they would be moving all of their staff to a different store. And so he told me yesterday that their whole staff is moving this week to a different store. So him and all the staff is leaving.
You're not going to see him anymore?
So Wednesday is the last day with the staff, so that ends my problem with them because I'm not going to have to talk to them. And then Ronnie's last day is Saturday. So I'm like, wow, for months we've both had a crush on each other, and then last week that you're here, we finally admit it. Like, of course. So, you know, everyone's like, maybe he'll talk to you after you guys don't have to see each other every day. Because he works 45 hours a week there, I work 45 hours a week at my job, so, like, we constantly see each other. And that's what built our friendship, but, like, now that it's, like...
It's kind of awkward having some type of relationship.
When everyone's pressuring.
It.
Like, I don't know. And that's, like, when he came up, like, Desiree walked away at one point, went to the back room or something, and he came up and talked to me. Like, when, like, we can still talk fine. I just won't look him in the eye right now. But that's because I've admitted my feelings and he hasn't. But I feel like if he was offended, then he wouldn't be talking to me still. You know what I mean? He wouldn't be making an effort. Like he'll talk to me in person, he just won't text me. But I think that's just because he's not a big texter.
Mm-hmm.
But again, if you're moving out of your store now,
you're going to have to text
or
talk.
Yeah, and, like, we're not going to see each other like we used to. So I don't
How far they're moving?
Fruin. It's still in Salisbury. It's just another location.
Oh, okay.
So, but, I mean, I don't know. But, like, it's just kind of stressful. And, like, I don't know. Because I never took it seriously. Like, I never thought it was going to be something that I was going to have to ever talk to anybody about. Like, 2 of my coworkers knew about it because they were there one day. He had come up and, like, I guess he had said something that was flirty and I missed it and they picked up on it. And so then my coworkers were like, oh, he likes you. And I was like, he's not a bad person. I like him, too. Like, I was like, but if y'all ever say anything, I'm, like, going to punch you on the throat. Like, and, I just never thought it was a situation I'd have to deal with. And I told him that in the text that I sent to him, you know, displaying my feelings. I was just like, you know, this isn't a conversation I ever thought I was going to have. And, you know, just with that, like, I had been crushing on somebody else for the last couple weeks. And to find out, you know, they liked me too. And I'm like...
So, love is in the air.
No, absolutely not. And so is my anxiety. So I, like, told the one guy that I had been crushing on recently that I just wasn't, like, wanting anything serious right now. And they were like, you know, we can still, like, be friends and mess around and all this. And I'm like, but I don't. Because I'm not going to be able to do that without catching feelings, if that makes sense. And right now I don't want to catch feelings for him because, like, I know that's not something that would last. You know? Because they work 2 jobs and go to school and...
So you won't have time for each other.
Right. To where at least, like... And I know this sounds dumb, but, like, if I was to get involved with Rodney, like, yeah, he works 2 jobs, but, like... They're within the same hour scheme of my jobs. And because he's older, like, he lives alone. And, like, it's just, like, less hassle, if that makes sense. Because, like, it would eventually develop to a relationship where, like, I could go there. Mm-hmm. It would be a place we could hang out later than 9 o'clock. Or, like, I wouldn't have to get my family involved with that. And right now, things with my family haven't been good. I know, like, me and my sister just haven't been getting along recently, and I've just been in my room crying every night, and I won't talk to her. And then she found out today that the treatment plan that they were giving her husband in order to give him, like, testosterone in order to, you know, build his hormone levels for them to have kids, actually has made him sterile, so she's never going to be able to have kids. And all my sister has ever wanted is kids. She wants 5 kids, and she wants to be a stay-at-home mom and take care of 5 kids. They already had planned to move to Florida in 2 years to raise their first child, like, and she got this heartbreaking news that she can't have kids. And, you know, like, I want to be there for her, but, like, I disagree with, I don't know. I don't have a problem with her husband. It's just...
The situation?
Kind of. So she's married to our ex-uncle. Not by blood, but by marriage. So my dad's sister was married to this guy that she was in love with since she was 17. They were married 25 years. And they got divorced because of my sister. Like, she lived with them. He raised her as his daughter. Like, when me and my... Okay, so I told you, like, how me and my sister got separated. Mm-hmm. So when we got separated, she went and lived with them in Tennessee. So he raised her as a daughter. And then... They got married. Eventually, it turned into a romantic relationship, and they got married. And at some point, something happened there that just makes me... Like, age doesn't bother me. Like, you know... It never has. I've dated older guys in the past, and, like, that's why this thing with Rodney doesn't scare me, but it does at the same time. I don't know. Because it is a huge difference, and I'm not okay with it, but I am. I don't know. I judge based off personality, not by that. So it's something I would try, but it wouldn't be a habit, if that makes sense. But, like, ageism doesn't matter to me. It's just the fact that, like, he's 53, but used to be her father figure. Mm-hmm. And now she's married at 20 to this guy. And I'm like, you know, you could get artificially inseminated, like, you could adopt children. And she's just like, no, it's not the same. And I'm like, well, your husband's 50-something. And you knew that he had, like, hormone issues when you married him. I mean, not to say I'm not surprised, but I'm not surprised. And it's hard for me to be empathetic towards something that I don't necessarily agree with anyway. So, but I can't tell her that. How could I? I don't know. It's just been puzzling me, and, like, I've just been in my head, and I haven't been feeling, like, the best lately, and she's not somebody I can talk to about it. And I mean, I know they hear me crying, and I know, like, me going on walks every night at midnight because I can't sleep. Like, I know they notice this stuff, but, like, I won't talk to them about it, and I know it offends them that I don't talk to them about it, but it's not going to change my mind any. I'm not going to open up to them because I don't trust them. Yeah. And I can't force myself to tell them what's wrong. Like, I don't want to tell anybody what's wrong.
Can you help your sister by supporting her, at least?
I mean, yeah, I mean, I do support her. Like, I feel bad because I know her dreams are crushed. I'm just saying that if you want to mope about it, it's fine, but there's other ways to have children. But she's like, we don't want to artificially inseminate because we don't want to resent the other for being the actual parent and the other one not. And I'm like, okay, so adopt. And they're like, it's still not our children. I'm like, okay, but you knew growing up that he couldn't have children, and that's why they agreed to adopt you, so you could be their child that they could raise. But now you're married to him, and you expect him to suddenly be able to have children. Do you understand what I'm saying here? Like, are you guys gonna adopt another child and then he leave you for the child? Like, I'm not trying to say he's a pedophile, but, like, it's a concerning factor.
Mm-hmm.
And especially after, like, everything I went through with my mom, like, where, like, she was my best friend, she raised me, and then she was trying to get jiggy with it. So, like, I don't know. I just can't trust people with children right now. Like, I don't know how I feel about it.
Do you think the whole situation that you grew up, that's why you can't trust children?
I don't think it's that I don't trust children. I think I don't trust the people that are voluntarily, like, take children in. Like, I don't know if this makes sense, but, like, you hear all the stories that are like, oh, you know, just because a child isn't yours doesn't mean it's not your responsibility or something. Like, step parents are parents, and, like, you know, I fully agree with that, you know, if you marry someone, you're marrying their children as well. But when they're just so gung-ho from the beginning about adoption or, you know, taking in a teenage child under their wing, like, it just frightens me a little bit anymore because I've seen it happen twice now.
So what is the problem from your viewpoint?
I don't know. I don't think it's a problem. It just makes me feel, like, weird. I'm sorry. Like, I don't know, like, and I'm seeing it with, like, this thing with Rodney, and, like, I think that's another thing that's holding me back, is, like, I don't think it's the age that bothers me. Like, I truly don't believe that it's the age. I truly believe it's the trauma that's affecting it, if that makes sense.
The whole situation that you lived.
Yeah, and, like, my mom trying to set me up with an older guy to see what would happen. I just think that that's what's triggering me, is, like, I can't. There's this thought in the back of my head, what if this is my mom? What if this is a setup? What if, you know? And, like, I truly want to believe that she doesn't know where I am or how I'm doing, but I know someone has told her. Like, at least that I'm living in Seaford, I work in Salisbury, you know? Like, someone has reported back to her, even though I've kept my circle small and cut off everybody that I've known.
Do you have an idea who it is?
No, I just feel like she's seen it either through a social media post, through someone. I know that about a year ago, I've not lived with my parents for, it'll be 2 years in November, and about a year ago, I went on vacation with a group of friends, and their mother knew my mom, and I didn't realize that, but she was like, yeah, like, we went to deliver Girl Scout cookies there, and we asked where you were, and they just said you were working. So they don't tell people where I am. They don't tell people what happened. And it just bothers me. Like, not that I expect them to own up to their mistakes, but don't act like I'm still in your life. At least make up some story that I ran away and that I'm a horrible child. Like, at least don't claim me to be yours if you're not claiming me to be yours. Does that make... And I think that comes from the betrayal, like, how my dad had had every means possible to choose me over my stepmom in that situation, and he chose her. And, you know, she chose this addiction over me. Don't act like you chose me when you didn't. So if people ask you where I am now, just say I'm not here. You know, I've reached out to my dad so many times about being in my life still. And he stood me up so many times. He was never there so many times. And I just hear, like, you know, you hear the stories or, like, the jokes or the stereotypes, like, oh, they didn't have a dad growing up, so they're into daddy figures. And, like, I don't want to believe that that's what this crush is. Like, I want to believe that I really just like his personality, but, like, I can't get that thought out of my head that I'm looking for a father figure in love. And I don't think it's that because I don't see him and my father in any resemblance. But I don't know. And then, like, on top of that, it's just, I posted something on Facebook the other day, and my brother and my sister-in-law had liked it, and then she started commenting on it, and she messaged me and was like, how are you doing? How have you been? We haven't heard from you in a couple years. And I'm like, yeah, you know, like, because they used to live with us, my sister and her husband, my brother and his wife, their daughter, they just now recently had a newborn. He's like a month old.
Oh.
Yeah, and, like, I've, like, wished them congratulations on the Facebook post. I wished my brother a happy birthday. It's stepbrother, of course, but, it worries me. Like, she's made an effort to reach out and talk to me now. And she's like, I miss you. I want to meet Jace. And, like, I miss Hayden, which is their daughter. I'm like, I miss you guys. Like, we need to get together. Like, you know how people give empty offers like that because that's what you say. And she was like, yeah, for sure. How about we meet up this week? And I'm like, yeah, like, of course. And now, like, there's a date and a location. And we're just pending a time based on her work schedule. And, like, it scares me that this is going to go through. Like, I just want to cancel on it last minute. Because they don't know what happened between me and my mom. And I don't want to tell them. And my sister says I should because they have 2 kids. And what if, like, she tries to go near them, but, like, she's a registered sex offender, so legally she can. But that's not going to stop her from seeing her grandkids, you know? But, I don't want to tell them because one wrong detail and it's slander. Or then, you know, I haven't had to deal with this since January of this year, you know? She got sentenced, that was the end of it.
So you think that when you're going to meet, this whole situation is going to reopen
and just bring up memories. And I think that's some of my anxiety that's been bothering me this week. Is just like, you know, what if he calls my other brother or calls my sister and is like, oh my God, you're never going to believe what mom did. And then they tell her, or it gets back to her. And then I say one wrong detail gets twisted, then it's slander. And then they can reopen another court case against me. Or, you know, it brings her back into my life in some form. The talking about me, the pretending that I'm a horrible person. Like, I mean, I sat there the day that I went back to get my stuff with the cop. Like, I sat there while I was in my room, and they were telling this cop so many bad things about me. Like, the cop came in my room and was like, they said that you willingly ran away and that you took all your stuff with you that night, and, like, that there's no court case opened, and that I used profanity, or I was texting my dad and that I was using profane language and I was harassing him and this, that, and the other. And, like, the only thing I had said to him was, you know, if you're not going to man up and be my father, then get the fuck out of my life. I said, don't sit here and keep standing me up and keep playing with my emotions and telling me you love me if you're not going to fucking be here for me. So I did use a cuss word. I'm not going to deny that. But I didn't say anything profane or harassing them. I bluntly spoke my mind. And, I mean, yeah, could he have gotten offended by it? Sure. But was I not offended all the times you stood me up?
Mm-hmm.
Or the time you were like, I'll kick my 17-year-old daughter out this house, even though it was black and white that his wife was the reason that all of this happened. And then she proceeded to get charged for it. And they still just... And then I hear the rumor about a month ago that my mom and dad divorced or separated, and that she's not living with him anymore.
Your stepmother?
Mm-hmm. My real mom's dead, so I'm referring to my mom as my stepmom. And so, you know, I hear that they got divorced, and I'm like, a part of me just, feels so much worse, because if that was the only reason you weren't talking to me and that you gave up any connection with me, why haven't you reached out since? I don't know if that makes sense. Like, if he wasn't talking to me because they were, like, he believed her over me, or he feel like I ruined their family, like, now that you are divorced or she's not living with you, why haven't you reached out and, like, let's meet for dinner one night? I want to see how you're doing.
Do you think it's another problem? Something else going on?
I don't know. I mean, him and I were never, like, buddy-buddy, but we never had problems with each other. Like, my dad was a workaholic, so he was always at work. So we never had the chance to bond because of that. But, I mean, we never hated each other. Like, when my mom was away, we got along fine. Like, we would hang out, we'd watch movies together, we'd get dinner together, we would joke, we would laugh, like, we would run around the house, like, shooting each other with Nerf guns. Like, it was always fun when she wasn't there. But when she was there, I was closer to her because he would be so standoffish. And I think it's because originally, like, when they first got together, she accused my dad of having an affair with my sister. Plot twist. Because, like, my sister would sleep in the same bed with him. And some nights I would sleep on the floor in his room. And some nights she would sleep on the floor in his room and I would just be in my room. Because, like, when they first met, we were living in this rental house. And we couldn't afford, like, central air. So we would have one air conditioner and it would be in his room. So we all slept in his room to not be hot. But, like, it was just weird to me. So I would, like, sleep in the other room. And, so when they first got together, like, my stepmom was like, this is insane. Your daughter could, like, I eventually just grew out of it because I just didn't want to sleep in the same room as my family. But my sister would still sleep in there or sleep in the bed with him even after we started turning the central air on. And, like, my stepmom was like, that's weird, it just shouldn't be happening. And I think that she thought there was an affair there, and that's what drove the wedge between my sister and my dad. And they stopped talking. And, part of me always has this thought in the back of my mind that maybe something was happening there. Maybe she has daddy issues, like, because
Is there a reason why she thought of that? Besides her sleeping there?
That's what I'm saying. That shouldn't be the only thing. I don't know if maybe there was messages I never saw or things that were said that I never heard. I mean, they were always closer. Like, I was always closer to my mom, and my dad and my sister were always closer. But, I mean, it usually happens like that. One child bonds to one parent more than the other.
It's normal. There's families like that.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know if there was something my stepmom knew that I didn't, but my stepmom hated my sister with fiery passion from day one. Almost as if she was a mistress. And that's what I'm saying. Like, was there an affair there? And when she couldn't have him, she went for my uncle because they're pretty similar. And I'm like, maybe she has daddy issues. Maybe she likes older guys. Like, but she always said that, like, she never was involved with anybody before my uncle. Because she, like, when she lived in Tennessee, she was very sheltered. But, I mean, my sister had been so young. And, like, I don't want to think about my dad like that. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I think there's a lot of things that I've never been told because I'm the black sheep of the family. My family causes a lot of drama within each other, and I just don't get involved in it. I don't talk about my grandma to my sister to my grandma. I'm just like, all right, well, that's y'all's problem. Like, when everybody, like, throws everything in and runs to help everybody and I don't. And, like, I regret that, like, not being there for my family and not... when somebody gets sick, like, calling out of work to go help them, like, that's not me. And, like, I know it's selfish, but nobody has my back. My sister's married. Like, she doesn't take care of herself. She's never had to take care of herself. He has always taken care of her. I don't have that. I don't have parents anymore. My grandmother, she's getting up there in age. She has a lot of medical problems. Like, she's not going to be around for much longer. And, like, I don't have any long-term friends that, like...
could help you.
Yeah, like, especially not financially or, like... you know, I'm raising myself. I have been. And I'm sorry that I can't drop everything and be there for everyone all the time, but that's just not how today's society works. Like, you can't just call out of your job every other week and expect to still have one.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can't not work 40, 45 hours a week and still expect yourself to progress and go up and move up in the world. And, you know, I don't want to stand here and make $8.75 an hour at a minimum wage job. Like, no, I throw myself into my work and I do a better job and I prove myself, so I do get raises and I do get promotions and I do better. Like, I want people to recognize me and be like, wow, we need her on our team. Like, she'd be a good employee, so I can move into, like, a career field or get a good reference or whatever the case may be. You know? So, like, I know I'm the black sheep of my family in that aspect. Like, you know, I always, like, I've had a lot of issues with, like, suicide and mental health and, like, just not...
How are you doing with that?
Being there. Recently, I've just been in a crap hole. Like, it's not gotten better, but, like, I don't know. Like, the only thing that I find enjoyable is my job. Like, there's not any hobbies that make me happy. There's not any people that make me happy. I'm not happy with my life or just being, like, alive in general. And I've tried new things to try to get myself happy, and I just can't. Like, I just can't be happy. And it just, like, I've even tried, like, looking at things in a less pessimistic view. But I just can't. And, like, my job's been the only thing that ever made me happy. And now, like, with this boy drama that's arising, which I know that'll go away. But, like, the owners, like, have their way of wording things sometimes that just push me to my boiling point and make me wonder why I'm doing everything I'm doing. And then, you know, my staff talks about quitting and moving on to better opportunities, and it's like, I know better than anybody that I can't put my faith and my happiness in other people, because all they ever do is leave me, and I should be responsible for my own happiness. But it's like, when I can't be happy on my own and I start putting that happiness in other people just to have some happiness, and then they're like, I'm gonna take it away, and I'm just sitting here like, what do I do? Like, I don't know. I'm holding on by threads every day, and it seems like every day my thread is being threatened to be cut.
So you're scared of loving someone that in the future that person's not going to be there for you? Am I understanding?
Yeah. I mean, I come to terms with it. I can't love. Like, at least not right now, not until I, you know, seek further help into what is the ground issue that's making me this way. Like, I think a lot of it's my surrounding issues of what I've grown up around. But there's got to be some type of issue that started it.
It's understandable where you came from. It's not easy to move along without healing. And like you said, you have to seek for healing. And most of the times, you have to face the past to be able to heal. Like you were saying, you're probably not ready for that. But if you do not do it now, when are you going to do it? Exactly. It's going to keep going, and it's going to keep hurting you. Exactly. So I think it's time for you to face the past, so there can be healing for you.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just like, to me, it's black and white anymore. Like, you know, I've never been shown love up until this point. So, like, I've never been able to, you know, produce love at this point. And now it's like, I'm at this point in my life where, as I just said, like, I fend for myself. I raise myself. Like, everything that I do is by myself, for myself. And, like, I mean, I've been doing it pretty well for the last couple months, years. So, like, I've come to terms with that's the best way of survival. And, like, letting people in, like, even small relationships. Like, I won't like date someone for over like 2 months because we start getting really close and I'm like, nope, I can't do it. It's too scary to me, and I just start creating problems so I can push them away. And like that's what terrifies me is like I don't know, like I just don't like, even with the guy that I was crushing on that was like around my age, and I'm like, you know, I'm not okay enough to have a relationship. Like, I don't want a relationship. I don't have time for a relationship. When in reality, like, I know that I will just create problems so I don't have to deal with it.
Is there something else you could do, like build some type of, I don't know, like friendship, like something that can help you?
Same thing. I just, you know, I get distant with people. Like, I just, like, we'll get really close, we'll hang out, we'll be great friends, and then bam, I'm done. Like, I just start pulling away because I don't want to get close to people.
Have you tried getting a dog?
I don't want a dog. They stink. And they shed everywhere.
You don't like animals?
I do. Like, I'm more of a cat person myself, but I don't mind animals, but, like, I tried getting a dog. When I first got out of foster care and I was living alone, and I was like, wow, I really hate myself and my life. I need something that's going to hold me accountable. I'm getting a dog. This way I know that somebody else needs to survive based on my needs. Like,
how was your experience with them?
It was great, except for the fact that I was working 16 hours every day and I had a puppy. So I was working the 16 hours every day because I was living by myself. So, I mean, and I was working minimum wage jobs, so, like, I needed the hours to make the money to pay the bills. So I couldn't, it was either my survival or the dog's, and I knew that I could not give this dog what he needed. Like, he needed to be loved, he needed to be potty trained and hung out with and love and cuddles, and I couldn't. Like, this was the sweetest dog I've ever met in my life. He was so cute. You know, he'd just come and lay with me. Like, he already knew what love was, and he was like 6 weeks old. Like, he was a puppy. And, you know, he came and cuddled with me and loved me and he gave me kisses, but, like, he never caused any problems. Like, of course he peed and pooped in the house because he wasn't potty trained yet, but, you know, and he did make me so happy. Like, it was just so nice to come home and have this little love bug. But at the end of the day, like, I had to face the reality that I was only hurting him because I couldn't be there. Like, I was being the person that I'm scared of. Like, I was being the person that couldn't commit, and I was being the person that walked away. And I was like, this dog deserves better than me. He deserves someone that can love him and, like, be there for him. And I knew it wasn't me, so I gave the dog away to a better home, because that's what you should do with people. You shouldn't cheat them and abandon them. You should just put them in a predicament for them to get better. So that's what I did to my dog. I was a responsible owner.
The last session we spoke about things that you could do to lift up your self-esteem. Did you think of any?
Nope. I can't think of any. Because I truly hate everything about myself. From my hair that I've just dyed for the 4th time this year, to, you know, my ears that I constantly pierce, or my skin that I constantly tattoo to make it look different, from the way I look, the way I talk, the way I act, everything. I hate everything about myself. And I don't have any grounds to stand on to fix it. So no, I haven't found anything that builds my self-esteem yet.
Well, this is our last session, and I think that are you willing to seek more help?
I think so. I think that's probably what's going to be best for me. Somebody that helps me monitor my own progress and, you know, help me determine why I can't love myself or others. You know, someone that helps me establish some self-worth so that I don't feel unhappy, not only with myself, but with everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a dangerous game I'm playing because I feel like a pendulum and my moods swing based on the day about if I want to live or not. And I hate waking up one morning and then suddenly it be so much worse than all the others. And that I'm just cradling myself every night trying to figure out if I want to live. And it's hard. So yeah, I think I should get more help.
Well,
but thank you for all of yours.
It's been a pleasure working with you. When